Let's start the basis of family creation in Revit Architecture. Not that family creation. As you might know that Revit is having very least amount of library compared to 3ds Max or SketchUp's default components or libraries there. So there are some websites which let you download all these family, so maybe you have to compromise the quality. Sometimes you might want to create all those families by yourself. Maybe the client doesn't like the product which you put right into your project. You are forced to create some components there, so which is also essentially the concept of BIM. So we can assign some of the BIM properties to that components which we had created. So in this series of videos, let's create the family from basics to the most advanced families. I don't know what and all products I will create. Maybe especially doors, windows are there, and let's try to do whatever I can. So alright, in order to get into family, we are having new family option is right there. If you can't access this file, get into Autodesk and you can search for the component which I can't show you right now. This is the default pathway. If you're in the template, get into family template. There you will have in English, and you got a lot of family template. Every one of this is having some dedicated use. For example, I can say that maybe if you're creating a furniture, you have to open this template. If you're creating a door, you have to open metric door. So each and everything right in this folder is having a specific use. Right now, let's create some face-based project which can be laid into any of the face right around. It can be wall, it can be floor, ceiling, whatever face you can, any face that will host it on. So let's create a face-based family. So if I open it, you can see that if you get into the 3D view, okay, you are having a face, a host of faces right here. So let's create some object right onto this face. So you're right now in top view. The simple concept of this family creation is first creating a reference plane, which is right here, and second, assign equality parameter. If you're having two reference plane, you have to create an equality constraint. If you're having single reference plane, you don't want to create an equality constraint. So the second point is creating equality constraint, and the third point is assigning dimensions and creating labels. And that's the third step. These parameters can be controlled either from edit type or the property palette, just like changing the width of the door. And the last point is we can draw any object by making use of the inbuilt forms right in Revit Architecture. So let's try to create that. I would like to have a rectangle panel with width as its parameter. So the first point is creating reference plane. So reference plane is here. If you're changing width, so I like to have two planes vertically so that it can change the width right from there. So the second point is if you're having two or more reference plane, I like to make use of an equality parameter here. So get into align dimension, first plane, center plane, and the last plane, and click outside, and enable this equality option. So that will divide two reference plane in the same distance from the center. Now the third point is assign a parameter, assign the dimension, and you can select the parameter and provide, maybe there will be the length. That's the third step. And the last step is you can right away get into extrusion, and maybe I like to use any of these options here. Either you can make use of line, rectangle, or pick line. For the symbol sense, this is a rectangle. I'll be making use of a rectangle here. It's quite important to lock this extrusion with the reference plane. Maybe some case it's okay, and some case if it doesn't, the length will change without considering the extrusion. So that's the simple case. Now I can load this right into project. Now if I get into the 3D view, you can say you can place it anywhere around the face of any object. So maybe I like to fix it right here. Alright, that's it. You can change the height from the ground. Maybe I think I can go for 200. Okay, and if I get into edit type, you're having the length option is here. If I change the length maybe to 1 meter, you can see that the length has changed, right? That's updating right here. So now let's get into more advanced stuff. I like to add one more parameter for the width. So the same procedure. Get into reference plane. If you're changing width, I like to add two more reference line here. Assign equality constraint with respect to the center line and click outside and disable the equality option. Okay. Okay, now let's assign a linear parameter, first point, second point, and I can select it and add a parameter that is width. Okay, that's okay. Now you can change it whether you want to display width on the edit type or the property palette. Okay, now you can make use of extrusion to draw, but right now in this case I'll make use of pick line and lock. So the first 2 points will be right here, second 2 points will be right here. Now it's a matter of trim. Okay, that I think first, second, and second. Okay, I'll make sure that the center of the rectangle is right at the center of this reference line. If I'm trying to load it into project, okay, the second option is more preferable. Drag it for change in height, and I get in the edit type, you're having lengthened. But if I try to change the width, you can see that the height is decreased. Now let's try to change the projection or the thickness of the asset. So in order to change the thickness, I have to obviously change the view right into any elevation. I can get into the front view. Okay, now let's create the reference plane here. If you're having 2 or more reference plane, you have to create an equality constraint. But right now in this case, the thickness of this wall or the reference level will be constant, and from that reference level I have to move the box, whatever I have drawn here, right into a single direction. For that, I like to make use of a reference plane right here. Okay, now I like to add the parameter right here, but in this case I don't want to add any sort of equality constraint, as I am only having a single reference plane. If I'm having 2 or more reference plane, that's the only case of adding an equality parameter. But right now in this case I don't want to add a multiple parameters here. Now I can go for align, as I'm already having an object here. I can align and lock it. And okay, I would like to add a parameter which is obviously thick. Oh, I'm not carrying the name. Let it be an instance parameter. Now if I'm trying to load this right into the project, I get into the 3D view. Thickness is right here. Maybe if I'm going for 100, you can see that the thickness has been decreased. Okay, that's how you'll be changing X, Y, and Z parameters. And also, let me try to say that, okay, now let's try to construct this with a formula. Okay, maybe I would like to say that the length is 2 times that of width. You can control that parameters by making use of the family type. I can say that the width is equal to 2 times what? No, 2 times length. So I like to copy length, Control Z. You can paste it, Control V, length into 2. Okay, now whatever be the length, the width will be twice that of the length. Well, this is 2-way. You can change either A or B. And if you're trying to change these values here, So maybe 200. If I try to change it right into 300, you can see that both the length and width has been updated. So I try to convey you that it is possible to change the values with respect to our formula, and also it's possible to create multiple types of the same product here. For that, I would like to create a box having size 300. So the size is 300 here. Apply it. So you have created a size of 300. Let's create a size of 600, and you can change the size to be 600, and that's enough. If I try to load it into the project, I'm gonna get into the 3D view. If you select it, you are having a different sized object here. Maybe size 300 is here and size 600 is here. So that's how you'll be creating multiple types. Now let's try to see how to assign materials right into here. So if you get into edit type, you're not having any sort of material properties here. So in order to apply material properties, first we like to select the object, and you're having a material. If you change material right from here, this material will be logged and the user cannot change that material. But if you closely observe, we are having an assign family parameter property box right here. Now I like to create a new material, so this one can be box material. I like to get into an instance property. Okay, now let's get into the family types. If I can have an option here, I like to change material right from here. Maybe I like to go for wood. Okay, and that's okay. So now if you load this right into project, realistic, I'll be having the default material that will be wood. You can see that is right here. You can change it anytime. That is you can change the material is right here. Box, you can say that it's closely written here. You can change material right into anything. See, that's what happened here. Alright, that's all about basic material family creation. We can pick a path. You can modify the shape of this object. You can edit the profile, thin line TL. I'm not considering the size. I can even assign some sort of properties right into here. Okay, and right into here. Okay, right into here. Okay, this is not quite important. You can obviously change size by changing the scale. This one can be named as sweep. I like to group it under maybe constraints. So sweep -x. Okay, and this one can be +x. It's labeled under constraints. This is under +x. This will be labeled under -y. And every time I like to change it, but I'm not considering that right now. This can be maybe -y. I hope you already got what I meant. Now this one will be the +y. Okay, this one will be the +y. That's okay. Now if you try to load this right into enable it, obviously you can change the material right from here. Okay, this one is for maybe create a new material that's called a sweep material. And I'm not assigning anything right into here. Let's get into the what happened. No problem. Anything I can change the size right from here. Length is maybe 2 meters. And okay, that's okay. That's it. Now if you get into here, you can change the properties of sweep, maybe 70. You can see that size has been updating here. 200. You can see the size has been updating here. Anyways, you understood how the basics of family creation work, right? And anyways, that's all about basis of family creation.